Well, hello. She's Bronya.
And she's Sammy.
Hello. And welcome to the Business of Cake Making podcast.
Oh, hello.
Oh my goodness, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all the better for seeing you.
Yes, because I'm not ill this week.
No. You are looking much healthier this week.
Oh my God. I was watching the videos you put up on social
I tried
media.
not to put too many up.
And I thought, oh gosh, you did look poorly.
Yeah, you weren't well last week.
No.
You really weren't. You are looking better.
Thank you. Week. I have got a light on this week as well. I thought that might help. And I finally went out and bought a new bloody laptop because I thought
you got a whole brand new laptop. I
went out. I thought I can't be done. My old one's in the menders still. I'll phone you next week. I'll phone you. I've not heard anything from him. So Sunday, I thought, take on 2 extra cakes to pay for it.
Just another couple of cakes. It'd be fine.
And it was only 150 quid. It's Chromebook.
Nice.
And I did it. I turned it on and it downloads everything for you. So you don't have to.
Yeah, but girl power, you did that yourself.
Yeah.
You didn't need someone to do that for you.
I researched it. I looked at 3.
Well, that'll do.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm a happy bunny. So yeah.
Perfect. Right, so what are we talking about today?
Wow, we're talking about... Oh, well, I'll let you talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Because I've done lots of talking. It's your turn.
Today we are talking about the tops and bottoms of our favourite bakes. So our top favourite bakes and our ones we don't like so much.
Yeah.
And then Sammy has got some incredible questions to let us ponder over different flavours. Mm-hmm. So it's all about flavours and things we bake. And there will, of course, be in the Patreon side where there will be a tip of the week. There will be a top tip, a product of the week.
Top tips and a product of the week.
So that will all be on Patreon. And some of the searching questions Sammy has about flavours will also be over on Patreon, which is patreon.com/the Business of Cake Making podcast. A mere £5 a month, and you get all that extra content.
Yeah.
Right, where are we going to start? Are we going to start with our top 5s or tops or bottoms?
Oh, I think we should start with our tops.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Start on a high and then go downwards.
Yeah. So, should we talk about why we don't like this particular cake?
Yeah, absolutely. I think why we do like it, why we don't like it, why we find it helpful to cook or bake these particular cakes, or don't want to bake these particular cakes.
Because everybody's different, aren't they?
Yeah. But also, I think because it's funny because both of us have got some that we both like and we both don't like.
And we've got different variants.
Yeah,
of the same. As well.
Yeah, right. You go first. Where's your number 1?
Okay, my number 1. Are we doing tops? God's sake. We're doing tops, aren't we?
Because it was so long ago.
Yeah. There's a hole in the top of my head. Okay, so yeah, my top favourite cake ever is chocolate with homemade salted caramel. Not shop bought. It's got to be
homemade.
Got to be mine, or one of those.
Yeah.
Like.
Is it a specific chocolate cake recipe, or just any chocolate cake?
It's not that shitty one with cocoa powder in it.
Yeah, that's we'll talk about that later.
Mine's like a fudgy, moist chocolatey cake with homemade salted caramel in it.
Homemade salted. So your homemade salted caramel. What's that? Why not shop bought? Can you taste the difference?
Yeah, I can, and it feels different as well. With mine, say you bought the Sainsbury's one.
Yeah,
it's just not as punchy. With mine, I put little salt crystals in it as well. So you can. Do
you do that with the buttercream?
So
I thought you'd frozen then. You hadn't. You were just thinking. Sorry.
So, because I don't tend to I'll make my cakes and then I send them out the door. Yeah. So I don't tend to make them for me. What I tend to do is keep the scraps, and I'm not that keen on buttercream per se.
Right.
So I just tend to have it chocolate cake with salted caramel.
So you're like a dipping cider sauce.
Yes.
Excuse me, there's a helicopter going over. It does sound like a fart. It's not, I promise.
I wondered what that noise was. I thought it was here, because we quite often get helicopters here.
Sorry.
I have a charcuterie of chocolate and salted caramel.
Yeah, I quite like that idea. Yeah. But if you were doing it for a customer...
Oh, buttercream, definitely.
So what, you put a layer of buttercream, then the...
Yeah, and I'd make it salted caramel buttercream as well.
Oh, nice.
But you have to get the balance right. You don't want to put too much salted caramel sauce in your buttercream, because otherwise it's too, like...
Yeah, I guess
too sweet.
Yeah, too sweet. And then also it takes away from the joy of the actual salted caramel.
Yeah. So you have to get the right balance.
Yeah. And is that one of your favourite, is that one of your best sellers?
No, because people are quite boring, really, and they go for signature bakes, even though they go, what's your favourite? Chocolate salted caramel. Oh, we'll just have vanilla.
So when we were doing this, when we were saying the tops and the bottoms, we did say that we weren't allowed to include chocolate, vanilla, or lemon. So bog standard, chocolate, vanilla, or lemon.
So I've kind of done. Yeah,
we all love chocolate, vanilla. I mean, my favourite cake ever is a good Victoria sandwich, but I wasn't allowed to include that.
No.
Because it's a vanilla cake.
I don't really like it.
Yeah?
I don't like vanilla cake much.
I do like a Victoria sandwich, though.
Isn't it funny?
But I do like, it's got to be well made.
Oh, the one I made yesterday. Yeah.
See,
do you know when you
can't
make
go
it and you're just like, oh, this is why I do cake.
You can't go to a garden centre and buy a Victoria sandwich and hope it's going to be good if they buy them in.
No, that's
it's got to be a good homemade Victoria sandwich.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress because I wasn't allowed to include that.
Okay, can I just tell you, sorry, I'm digressing as well.
Go on.
I'll digress very quickly. When I delivered the exquisitely baked Victoria sponge cake today with strawberry jam, it's a client who buys a cake for his a company who does work for him once a year. As I did the buzzer and she went, oh, hello, because she obviously knew I was coming. And when I got to the top of the stairs, she went, oh, is it vanilla? I went, yes. And she clapped her hands like this in excitement.
Amazing.
And I was even more happy because I knew how good the cake was. Anyway, so what's your favourite flavour?
Well, so I like to have like a base recipe. Mm-hmm. So rather than... I have got favourite flavours, but I like to start with like a good base recipe. So I've got a good bake recipe for cakes and for brownies and for cookies that then you can add different flavours in. So they would be like the vanilla of them, I guess. But so like I've got a really good cookie recipe, but then I can make it into a chocolate chip, or I can make it into like a Biscoff, filled Biscoff, or do you know what I mean, or an oaty biscuit or something like that. But actual favourite flavour to eat personally, I would say vanilla chai.
Oh, yeah.
Which I know you have on your list as well, because she's just, there's just something so
but our
good.
recipes are different.
Very different. So my recipe, I use my base recipe and I swap out, because I put milk in my base recipe. What I do is I actually use chai tea bags and I steep them in the milk and I add that. That's how I add the flavour to it. Whereas you do the whole shebang with herbs, with spices, don't you?
Yeah, I don't put any herbs in. A bit of dill.
But basil here tastes very nice with it. Yeah.
I use so I grind I could buy it ground, I guess, but I like to grind my own. It just makes me feel so happy knowing that it's going in my cake. Cardamom, clove, mixed spice, cinnamon. I think that's it off the top of my head. Yeah. And then I do the same, but I buy dark vanilla chai tea bags to steep my milk in.
Yeah, so I buy these,
and sometimes I have seen you can make it with buttermilk and things like that, which I think I have done previously. But I'm like you, I use the base recipe, but I like the herbs.
So it's like
the
it's like a
spices.
Victoria sandwich recipe that with milk in it, and then I've just sort of like I've sat there with my So it's like black tea. So you buy chai tea bags.
Yeah.
And I just sort of like I would put probably about 10 tea bags in about 150 ml of milk. So it's
so I only use 2.
Yeah, so I use that it's like really, really strong flavour that's come out, and then I also use that in the buttercream as well. Put a bit of that in the buttercream
because my cake's so intense in flavour, I just use a vanilla buttercream.
Yeah, but it's one of those flavours. When I remember I did a wedding fair and I gave them out as samples, and it's always what sells the cake. It's something unusual. And I think that particular wedding fair, it was up at the Epsom Downs racecourse, and I think I took about 4 or 5 bookings from that in the end, and they all had the chai that they tried at the racecourse. So that's like, that's a winner.
I think as well, if you love that cake, it's easier to sell it. Yeah,
I do think you bake cakes that you love, you bake better.
Yeah.
And they say that about chefs and that as well, don't you? You can feel it in the food that someone's actually loved and cared about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So my second favourite cake is sticky toffee.
Oh, you just can't go wrong with that.
Oh my God, it is so good. So good. Made with...
Do you make it with dates?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like a sticky toffee pudding.
The thing is it's not sticky toffee if it don't have dates in it.
No. And then I make the kind of like the rich sauce as well to go with it, which is like the sticky toffee pudding sauce. So it's along the same lines as salted caramel, I guess.
Yeah.
But it has black treacle in it. It's to die for. And then again, I put a bit through the buttercream. Yeah. Not much though. I prefer the buttercream to be more vanilla with a hint of the sauce. Otherwise it's just too much. But yeah.
Well, see, that leads on to like my next one, which is like old traditional recipes and flavours. So like Tottenham cake and Eccles cake and hot cross buns, and things like that. They're traditional and they're still here for a reason because they're nice and they're good flavours.
Nice. Yes.
They're nice. Because, I mean, we were talking earlier about hot cross buns. Sammy has a problem with hot cross buns.
Oh, God, yeah, so bad, so bad.
They're in the shops already, but she can't buy them.
No, I stood staring at some yesterday, actually.
Were you dribbling?
And I was like, shall I? And I said no, because I'll have eaten them by the time I get home. So it's not worth it. And then I sit on the sofa like a beached whale, so I can't do it.
See, I love a hot cross bun. I really do. And I know you can get tea cakes all year round, but I don't know, hot cross buns.
Hot cross bun. What is it? I can't remember the song that I used to sing for hot cross buns.
Is it 1 a penny, 2 a penny, or something like that?
Yes. Hot cross buns. Yeah. Hot cross buns.
But like the old traditional bakes, Eccles cake is that. And the other thing that I find quite interesting is that when I was younger, things like hot cross buns, Eccles cakes, I hated them. I couldn't stand them. But as I've got older, I've come to appreciate them.
I never used to like Eccles cakes, but now I think they're delicious.
And something else that I've baked, and I've put the recipe out on my newsletter.
Malted loaf cake.
That was the malted milk loaf. But no, I did a London cheesecake. Have you ever heard of London cheesecake?
No, I haven't. But was that last year?
I think I kind of redid it recently as well. But it's so easy. It's like bits of puff pastry with like a frangipane in it.
Yes.
And jam in it, and then a glaze icing and coconut on the top. It's got no cheese in it, and apparently it's not even from London. And there's lots of versions as well. So some people say you should put almond in, some people say you shouldn't, some people say you should put jam in it, some people say blackcurrant jam. Yeah. So it's like different versions down through the country. Yeah. But it's like a real classic that people, if they know it, they're like, oh, London cheesecake is delicious, love it. Yeah. And Tottenham cake is just like...
I've never had Tottenham cake.
So
you've done is it in your book?
It might be actually, yeah. and it's like a vanilla cake, but it's got you soak it with a sugar syrup, and it's got pink fruity icing on top. So it's like a sprinkles cake, like the old school sprinkles cake. It looks like that, but with pink icing on the top. And it's an old Quaker recipe that came from Tottenham. And the fruit on the top was mulberries, which, I don't know where you get mulberries from nowadays, but it was, it's just so good. So good. So yeah, classic bakes is one of mine.
Am I next?
Yeah.
So we've talked about vanilla chai.
Extensively.
Yeah. So another one of my favourites is coconut and raspberry.
Yes. I'm not a coconut fan, but I get it.
I do this quite a lot.
Right.
But I don't know. I've got I live in a multicultural area. Yeah. And I get asked for coconut cake a lot.
Do you?
And I'll go, oh, do you want raspberry in it as well? Because, oh my God, it just...
But then I suppose, again, for us, when we were kids, you used to have a vanilla cake with raspberry jam and coconut on the top, didn't you?
I can't ever...
Did you not?
No.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't because I don't like coconut. But it was like a traditional, another traditional bake that was like raspberry jam and then coconut on the top.
So
it's a classic, isn't it?
I make my coconut cake with coconut milk.
Yes.
And coconut.
As you should.
Yes.
Because I think that if you use just coconut,
it's a bit dry, and it's a bit dry as well.
Yeah, you just get the bits and that's it.
Yeah. In fact, my niece had it for her wedding.
Oh.
And her husband turns 30 in September, and she's asked for a 2-tier cake entirely made of coconut.
Coconut. Yeah. See, if you've got a good coconut recipe, but yeah, I make mine with coconut cream or coconut milk in it.
And a good raspberry jam, not just any old turt. It has to be yummy.
Decent one.
But that sharpness to offset the coconut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like seasonal recipes, so I really enjoy the fact that like at Christmas you can do gingerbread and like spices, and then in the summer you've got soft fruits, and then in the autumn, I think autumn is my favourite season. Apples with berries and blackberries and I think it's that comfort food thing, it's that.
It's like
it's
what you need in an autumn. It's coming to the end of the summer.
Yeah.
And it just makes coming into autumn yummier.
Yeah. And everyone remembers like the blackberry and apple crumbles that their mums and their nans and that. So it's like that comforting thing. And I think when you're selling cakes, if you can offer things like those comfort foods that evoke emotions in people, they're more likely to not have chocolate and vanilla. That if you say to them, well, we could do what's your favourite dessert and it's a bit like the sticky toffee as well, isn't it? It's that evoking comfort and memories.
Yeah. But you can also have that in summer with ice cream. So I'm going to go on to my next one, which is it's got fruit in it.
Okay.
So it could be seasonal, but it's lemon and raspberry. I know we weren't going to do lemon, but this is lemon and raspberry.
Do you put raspberries in the cake batter?
Yeah. So you make a lemon cake with raspberries through it.
Do you put fresh or frozen raspberries in?
Depends on my mood.
See, I tend to use frozen. That's made me cough.
I'm just saying that. I'm thinking, I bought some raspberries the other day. Have I eaten them already? I'm going to have them later. I had raspberries with Christmas cake the other day. It was very nice.
That's like all the seasons in one.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I tend to buy frozen raspberries because I find that at this time of year, the raspberries, if you're putting them in a cake, they don't seem to have as much flavour.
Oh God, yeah.
Whereas
that
frozen raspberries always have a lot of flavour, and they also, if you put them in frozen, they hold up better.
Yeah, and they don't
in the cake.
sink as well.
Yeah, and you can always have them. You don't have to go out and buy them, especially fresh.
And I use lemon curd as well.
Ooh.
In it, and it's really nice with mascarpone cream.
this a business podcast, or is this merely what Sammy likes to eat?
Actually, that's a go-to. If I'm going to, someone says, "Can you knock up a cake to bring with you?" That is my go-to. So yeah.
Right, well, my last one on this list, and I know it's not a cake, but I can't resist them. Cinnamon buns.
Oh yes.
Just can't resist them.
You can always hear the angels singing in agreement.
I cannot resist a cinnamon bun or a cinnamon swirl. And I bought some Dunk cookies this week, and one of them was a cinnamon swirl Dunk cookie. Go buy one. That's all I'm going to say. It's like...
That was what we talked about last week on our last podcast, isn't it?
So I talked about Dunk. Dunk cookies are one of the companies that I talked about last week, and I ordered their cinnamon bun deep dish cookie, and it's everything and I wanted and more.
So my last favourite cake is just a basic coffee and walnut.
Dave, you can't beat coffee and walnut, can you? It's that tradition again.
Yeah.
Evoking memories of childhood and...
Yeah. It's just yummy.
Yeah. I do find, though, that coffee and walnut is quite... When I used to do markets, and actually I think at the shop, coffee and walnut, blokes used to buy it.
Yeah.
It was a real, quite a masculine flavour.
It's not one of the top flavours. It's not.
No.
If you're going to do a market, don't do your own style stall as coffee and walnut, because you won't sell that many.
Yeah, well, saying that, I used to do coffee and walnut cupcakes, and I used to generally sell out of the cupcakes, but I think that's because it was the sort of thing that, because I used to do lots and lots of cupcakes, and you'd get like blokes walking along going, "Oh, I want a cupcake." "Oh, coffee and walnut," because it's a little bit more masculine. It was kind of accepted.
Yeah.
So the men would buy the coffee and walnut cupcakes. But it's kind of got a bit of everything you need, isn't it? It's got lots of flavour. It's got a bit of crunch from your walnuts, softness of the cake, just everything you need in it.
It's a good job I had 2 slices of cake before I came on.
And I had half my Dunk cookie.
Okay,
right, okay.
So we're going to leap into hates. Now, mine is not so much the flavour. One of them is. Mine is more just the whole bake palaver of these cakes.
And I think a lot of this. So I think also some of the top cakes, because you like them, you enjoy making them, and they will always come out better. Whereas the bottom ones, a lot of them they're just a bit of a ball ache to make, and you don't love them as much. And it's not always about the flavour. It's just about, they take longer to make, and therefore they're costing you more money because time is money and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Banana cake. Oh, it's such a pain in the arse to make.
I made banana and dark chocolate muffins this week, and they were okay. Do you know what I don't like about banana cake? What? I hate the smell of banana cooking.
It's just a pain in the arse.
And if your bananas aren't ripe, and you've got to ripen them off, and then you've got to mash them up, and
and Mark, my ex, he was allergic to bananas, so we had to be careful if we did bananas, because he'd have an allergic reaction.
Oh, yeah, that's not good. Killing someone is not good.
No, I just don't like banana cake.
Yeah. See, I've never liked. So I think it's the smell of bananas cooking, like bananas on toast. I could never do that.
Oh, I can do that. I have a banana a day. I love bananas, but banana cake,
yeah,
I hate it. 1-year-old mums with their child's first birthday quite often ask,
because babies like bananas. It's that natural, and it's natural sweetness, so you don't have to put too much sugar in it
as well.
Yeah. Can I just tell you about so I work with a very lovely lady, very, very lovely lady. She's Australian, and she's tried to con me into that this is an Australian thing. So any other Australians listening, please can you tell me if this is a real Australian thing or not? She will have a panini with banana, cheese and bacon. She's like, well, it's the sweet and the salty, and I'm like, no, it's wrong.
Yeah. I hope there's some sort of Australians out there who can answer.
Yeah, if there's anyone from Australia that listens, can tell me that is it her that's just a bit mad, or is this actually an Australian thing?
Yeah.
She used to work in a coffee shop in Australia, and she claims it was one of their best sellers. I don't know. Maybe not. Right, so my top hate, and this would be no shock to anyone if you know me, red velvet. If it was just velvet, I'd be fine, because velvet cake is really nice. It's made with buttercream, it's made with cocoa, it's a really nice recipe. But the red came out originally because it was like the way the cocoa was processed, and the acidity in the cocoa and the bicarb, and it used to make a nice red colour. But like everything in this world, we've kind of gone, oh, it's a bit red, let's throw in a ton of food colouring.
Yes.
Why do we need that food colouring in it? Just make a nice velvet cake. Why does it need to be bright red?
It's set in stone now.
Yeah.
Everybody loves it.
And it looks like there's been a massacre in my kitchen whenever I make it.
No matter how careful you are.
Yeah. There will be red everywhere. And also, I think the amount of red you've got to put in, you can always taste it. You can never get away from tasting it.
No. I like the moistness. But that's the velvety bit, isn't it? That's the buttermilk. I don't like red velvet.
So
my next one is marble cake. This is pure. I like eating it, but it's such a pain in the ass to make, because I don't like
cakes.
Yeah, I don't like using Victoria sponge or cocoa powder, because
no. So that's one of my hates. Should we move on to that so we can talk about it all in one? Yeah. So one of my hates is people that make chocolate cake by removing a bit of the flour and putting cocoa in instead, because it's so dry.
Yeah, and crumbly.
Yeah. So cocoa powder is not a like for like substance with flour. Cocoa powder absorbs more moisture. It's drier. So if you take 50 grams of flour out and put 50 grams of cocoa in, it's not the same equivalent in texture. And therefore, it just dries it out more. And if you're making a marble cake, you've got to make 2 cakes.
Yeah.
It's all washing up.
Yeah, and swirl it around.
Yeah. But also, running a business, who wants to be doing that much washing up? It's like red velvet. Who wants to be doing that much washing up? You're running a business. Time is money, darling. Darling.
So I'm moving on to my one that everybody knows that I hate. But I've got a love-hate relationship with this. Champagne and strawberry. Or strawberry and champagne, whichever way you want to take it.
Yeah. So which is your preference? Champagne and strawberry, or strawberry
champagne
and champagne?
And strawberry, because I prefer a champagne sponge and a strawberry buttercream. But some people
Why do you not like it? What is the
I just don't
aversion?
Like the flavour. I bought the expensive champagne. I tried it.
Yeah.
It's just not my cup of tea.
I don't like champagne.
No. Oh, I like a very sweet champagne.
Yeah. Prosecco, maybe.
Yeah. We had the bottle I had at Christmas was the one I got when I was on my tour of Europe.
Oh, yeah.
That I bought at Moet and Chandon.
But that's because you went in and said, I want a sweet champagne, and they gave you what you wanted.
Yeah. And it wiped both me and my eldest out, and we could have quite happily had a sleep on the sofa. But, but I make it really well. so unfortunately, my hatred doesn't come out in it, and yet my customers still want it when they have it.
Isn't that funny?
Because time and time again, I'm like, I'm going to take off my menu.
Yeah,
I don't,
you said 2 years ago you're going to take
I've said
off your
it
menu.
every year since time began. but I'm admitting defeat. It is a good
With
flavour.
your champagne, do you boil it down, reduce it down a bit, or do you just put big? You do.
I do. Yeah.
And to me, so the thing is that reducing it down, you might as well just be reducing down anything, really, anything else. White wine. What's the difference? I'm sorry. I'm going to get a lot of hate for that, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's champagne.
But just boil down a bit of cheap white wine. I don't want to know the difference.
Oh no, there is a difference in flavour. Oh, I don't like it anyway. Anyway, next.
Right, okay. So my next one. Now, I love eating this. and I do love eating this, but it's on my hate list for making, and that is carrot cake or any vegetable cake that I need to grate vegetables, because I invariably end up grating my knuckles. And I've had people say to me, just put it in the food processor, but then I've got to wash the food processor up.
Yeah.
So if someone else can make carrot cake, I'm there every single time. Making carrot cake or any like courgette cake or parsnip cake or beetroot cake or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to eat a carrot cake because of the spices and the walnuts and all that. But my hands don't like it because I always grate them. And blood's not a good look in the cake.
No. And on a course I just did, I learnt about the property, the thing that blood has got in it if it gets in your food. I can't remember what it's called now.
Oh.
But yes, we must put a plaster on immediately.
Yeah. See, that's why I shouldn't make carrot cake.
Yeah.
But I have got a really good carrot cake recipe, and it's coming out on my newsletter soon. Just saying. But I don't like making it myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think the next one's our last one, isn't it?
Yes. And I think we've both got this one.
We're gonna do a combo.
Yeah.
of it's kind of like flowers almost and seeds. So mine is poppy seed and lavender, and yours, Bronya?
Mine is lavender or rose.
So yeah,
just anything florally, because I think there's such a fine balance of having it really nice or having it absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. Paul Hollywood on Great British Bake Off. He's
there is that really fine balance of having it can turn into something really nasty really quickly. Yeah. And once you put it in,
there's no going back. You can't rectify it.
But you've added poppy seeds to the mix as well.
Yeah. I just in a cake.
What do they add to a cake? What do they add flavour to a cake, or do they just add black bits?
Well, they do have a bit. Poppy seeds do have a flavour, a very subtle one, but nah.
I've made lemon and poppy seed before, and but I find the best thing to do with poppy seeds is to actually soak them before you add them to the mix. So I've soaked them in the milk before I've put them in the mix. Before I've added them to the mix to soften them, because otherwise I think they can be. It's a bit like eating raspberry cake that you haven't taken the seeds out of. Mm-hmm.
Basically, just put them on a bagel. And then it gets stuck in your teeth. Yeah. Oh God, yeah. With my blooming toothpicks. I've got a toothpick in my bag. Could be my new song, couldn't it? Have I got a toothpick in my bag? Anyway,
so if anyone's got poppy seeds in their teeth, find Sammy.
Yeah. when I was on holiday, I love saying this. When I was on my tour of Europe, I happened to be in. Where was I? I was in the train station at Marseille. And this American at the counter was going to the French woman, do you have a toothpick? And she said, no. Oh, what? Pardon? Do you? And he was doing all that. And I just went to him, here you go, I've got one. And it was all, in this little paper package and everything. I just handed it to him. He was very grateful.
I wonder why he was so desperate for a toothpick.
He had something stuck in his teeth.
Obviously.
Yeah. Right. So we've done our hates and our tops,
we've done our likes and our hates.
So I've just got a few flavours.
We would like to hear yours as well.
Yes, definitely.
Let us hear. Let it all rip. Let us hear your likes and your hates.
And do you want us to bake it as well?
Yeah.
We could have a bake-off.
Right, okay, go on then.
So I've got a few flavours. So I've been researching flavours for my waffle van, and these are ones that just keep coming up. Chocolate and coconut, which I don't think I've ever tried before, but that appealed to me in a big way. But you don't like coconut.
So that's not. So I've got a recipe that is a coconut cake with chocolate buttercream, but this is actual chocolate coconut cake.
Yeah.
I
think that sounds good. And then this one.
It's the bits. It's just the bits.
That's why I've got toothpicks in my bag. She's got toothpicks in her bag. So this, I I've gone down a whole wormhole on flavours, but this one just keeps going, hey, jammy Dodger cheesecakes, and they're vegan. So you've got the jammy Dodger base crushed up, and then you've got a little of the jammy Dodger jam, and then you've got cheesecake, and then you've got a jammy Dodger on the top mixed into your cheesecake mix. And then because it's vegan, they whipped up vegan cream,
put on top
with jammy Dodger mix and pop that on top as well, and then put a jammy Dodger on top. It just looks amazing. I should share it to you, shouldn't I? So you can see
share it. It's something I saw the other day. Actually, that kind of, it was the cheesecake bit then that rang bells. I saw a recipe the other day for cheesecake cookies, and what they did is they made like a bark, like a cheesecake bark. So they made a cheesecake mix and they really like flattened it out, and I think it was a baked cheesecake. And then they cut it up into chunks and put the chunks of the cheesecake into the cookie mix, like chocolate chips.
Do you know we were talking about last week? The cake, like pie cake.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cheesecake cookies.
Yeah. But this was like, so it had ended up with like layers of cheesecake. It just looked really good. I'm going to try it. Yeah.
Okay. So millionaire shortbread cake with caramel Swiss meringue.
Who doesn't like millionaire shortbread, quite frankly?
Donuts.
Just
any donuts?
Just every donut.
Yeah.
Any donut. Although we did establish before this podcast that I don't like custard donuts, and Sammy doesn't see the point of ring donuts.
Yes. I was very disappointed the other day when I was like, they're ring donuts.
I would have been gutted. What was the jam?
Because I didn't even look at it. I just took it out and took a bite. And so it's like, oh. And this one, because we were talking about pistachio last week in our podcast, but this was purely just a pistachio cake, a bit like a carrot cake, had that same kind of moist texture.
I'd give that a go.
With cream cheese frosting. So I'm now going to ask you some questions, Bronya.
We're going to have a discussion about flavouring.
Yes. Are you ready?
I am. I'm braced.
So, should you bake cakes you don't like for your menu? So I've answered that question already.
Yeah, I think we already do.
Yeah.
The thing is that I don't really like coconut cakes. I don't like the texture of it. I don't like anything almond. Actually, that's not on my list, but I don't really like the flavour of almond at all. But I do bake a lot of almondy cakes. Mm-hmm. So they're things that I wouldn't choose to eat myself, but I'd tolerate. I think if it was something that I really didn't like, that I couldn't taste it and test it, then I probably wouldn't. Mm. But I've never met a cake I don't like that much.
You don't want to be like dry heaving.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever met a cake that makes you dry heave?
No, sadly.
No, because you do strawberry and champagne, or champagne and strawberry.
Yeah. No, it tends to be champagne and strawberry, not strawberry champagne. Anyway, get away from that bloody cake. Okay, so what role do foraged ingredients play in modern cake flavour innovations?
See, I like a seasonal cake. So I think that's when the fruit is at their best, is when you can forage them. So things like apple cake and apple and blackberry and all sorts of berries. Yeah. I like the fact that they're at their best when you can forage them.
Because there's lots of nuts as well that you can forage in this country as well.
Like chestnuts and things.
Yeah, and walnuts.
Yeah.
And
hazelnuts.
Cob nuts,
yeah. See, my mum's a girl from the country, and if you ever go for a walk with my mum in like autumn time, she'll just pick things up and eat them.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously higher than dog.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a good way to cut down. I mean, I know we're going to talk about this again also in a minute, but it's a good way to cut down waste and be like environmentally friendly.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're not importing it as well. It's there on your doorstep. Because I know we were talking, you don't like cakes like this, but a stinging nettle cake.
Yeah, I might try it.
Yeah.
I'll give it a go.
Because the properties of stinging nettles are massive.
They're meant to be really good, aren't they?
Yeah.
We've got apple trees in our garden, and I was hoping to make apple cake from the apple tree. I mean, they're all new trees, so we haven't got many apples. And this year we had this really beautiful apple. So it's a little tree, really big, beautiful apple, and I'm like, I'm going to pick that apple, and that is going in a cake. I saw a squirrel run off with it.
How sweet!
I was like, I was going to have that.
Oh, bless.
But it's okay because something's enjoyed it, and it's fine. That's okay. But yeah, I like forage. I think obviously you have to treat them properly. You have to clean them properly. You have to make sure they're from the right part of the tree. I know obviously it's not like mushrooms where you can't kill anyone with them, but so there's
so many options that you can use. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, I think stuff. And it's when they're at their best. It's when they've got the best taste and the best flavours. Yeah.
Keep thinking about those raspberries in my fridge. So, going on to global flavours, because we kind of covered like vanilla chai and pistachio. What roles... Sorry, wrong question. How are global flavours impacting the cakes of today? South American, Asian, Middle Eastern?
I think it's exciting that we can live globally like this.
Yes.
You know, I know in England, because of things that aren't so great, like the empire, we have a lot of spice.
I thought you were going to say racists.
That as well. But yeah, we have a lot of like spice. I mean, we've imported spices from very early in our heritage.
Yeah.
So a lot of our spices and herbs and things have all come from different countries. I mean, potatoes, we never had them to start with, did we?
No,
they came from somewhere.
Right.
That was Walter Raleigh, if I remember my Blackadder correctly.
Yeah.
So I'm always really excited. So we've lived near Kingston, and you go into Kingston, they've got like a Korean food shop, like a supermarket, and it's always really exciting to look at their puddings and their desserts.
Yeah.
And and let's say vanilla chai, pistachio.
Yeah.
It's all
and because our palate tends to be quite bland sometimes.
Yeah.
So introducing those flavours is a real taste sensation.
Yeah.
Oh, what's happening?
Oh.
My
She's gone.
am I still here?
Yeah, you're still there.
It just says my battery's really low. But it shouldn't be, because I got a new laptop. This shouldn't be happening.
Have you plugged it in?
I'm just going to go and check.
This is the lounge music when the intermission. Normal service will be resumed.
I didn't plug it in.
Was it plugged in?
No. I'm back. Okay.
She's back in the room.
Okay. So this
now.
Oh, have you finished? Sorry.
Well, I also think that because we are very set in our ways. You know, vanilla, chocolate, lemon, that sort of thing. But things like say, my vanilla chai was one of my best sellers as a wedding cake, and I really like that you can try something somewhere else, and you can take that flavour and you can put it in a cake, and it's just delicious and experimental. I love experimenting with flavours.
I love the look on people's faces when they go, vanilla chai?
Yeah.
Oh, what's that? Yeah. And they say, well, try a bit. Go on, just try. And then they go, And
then they go, try that. To all their mates.
Yes.
You come have it. That's really nice. You try have a bit.
Yeah.
Do you want some? Try a bit. Yeah. And you're like, no, it's my cake. Go.
So my last question
Yeah.
is, how can bakers source ingredients ethically and sustainably for their flavour creations?
I think seasonal.
Yeah.
I think that's always a good way to go.
Even if it's coming from a long way away, still seasonal.
Because if you're trying to, say, like, for example, in this country, you can get tomatoes all year round. But in the summer, those tomatoes are being grown in this country with our sun when we get it. Whereas if you're buying tomatoes now, they're coming from God knows where, or they're being done in polytunnels with heat and light being kicked into it. Flavour. And then it's like I was talking about raspberries. You know, if you buy raspberries now, it's just a water. There's no flavour in them. So yeah, definitely seasonally. Also, I know you haven't got it there, but what about things like flavour rings? Do we think they're good, or?
It's funny you should say that, because my product of the week is a flavour.
Okay.
So,
because I don't know, because like almond flavour, because I know when you watch Bake Off, they go, oh, you've used too much extract.
Yeah.
Is it a balance?
I don't know. I don't really know. Well, I'm just wondering if that's a way that you can. Is it ethical? Is it because it's chemicals? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you could go the whole hog and dry it in the summer. Dry your raspberries, dry your strawberries. Yeah,
actually, that's a good thing, because I've bought freeze dried fruit. So freeze dried fruit is probably.
I think that was from honeyberry, wasn't it? Yeah. So what are their ethical?
I don't know. Hold there just a second, and I will go and have a look.
I'm going to play some hold music for you. Bronya doesn't know I'm doing this because she's got headphones on. She can still hear me. Bum 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 bum.
I'm back. Okay, so doesn't really say anything. We strive to produce mouth-watering, innovative products of the highest quality. Our main focus to create exciting, feel-good products that enable to get you creative with the addition of burst of flavour, a crunch of texture, or a blast of the unexpected. Doesn't really say what their ethics are, I'm afraid. But I mean, I've got freeze-dried cranberries here, and the ingredient is cranberries and nothing else. You know, so they're not adding anything else to it. So it's a way of getting a lot of flavour in.
I'm just going to look at my product of the week.
And I guess it's also a way of them using things when they're in season and saving them.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't say anything about their ethics, I'm afraid, on their packaging.
Yeah. Well, looking at my my product of the week, which you can hear if you join Patreon. I don't think that's necessarily ethically sourced.
Yeah. I would say the easiest way to be ethically and sustainably sourced is to buy things seasonally and locally. You know, if you go to local markets, farmers markets, your local farm
and you get
shops.
Your flour and all that sort of stuff. And if that's what you want to, what's the word I'm looking for? Produce. Yeah.
Yeah, if that's what you're promoting your business
Thank you, that's the word I'm looking for, promoting.
Okay.
Then you do that. You get your free range eggs and you know, do as much as you can.
Yeah.
Defo.
Right, okay.
All right. So that's everything then.
Well, that's it for here. If you want to go to Patreon, you can more than welcome to listen to the rest.
Take the leap, please.
Go to Patreon. Business of Game Making podcast on Patreon. Go.
Yes.
But if you're not,
thank you very much. We love you very much, and you're all amazing out there. And if you do have any interesting flavours, I would love to hear them.
Yeah, because I'm always up for baking a new flavour.
Yeah, definitely.
Always.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay, then it's time for a bye.